Chapter 21. You two stand together, really fit together. Ran hummed softly, then got up. Jiang Chen went out with Ran and drove to the kindergarten. While driving, it started to rain. The rain did not affect the two of them because they brought umbrellas. 15 minutes later, when we arrived at the parking lot near the kindergarten, Jiang Chen walked with Ran holding an umbrella. When I arrived in the kindergarten, I saw the children in the kindergarten, all wearing disposable raincoats. Mom and Dad. Qin Jinian and Qin Ziyuan, who were waiting in line, waved happily when they saw Jiang Chen and Ran. Jiang Chen smiled and walked over with Ran. At this time, the kindergarten teacher Chen Yuxin came over. Teacher Chen Yuxin smiled and looked at Jiang Chen and Ran and said, "This is the first time for you two to meet Jinian and Ziyuan together. Anyway, you two are really good friends standing together." Jiang Chen. Ran. Mom and Dad. Qin Jinian looked up at Jiang Chen and said to Ran, "I asked a teacher today why mom and dad can't kiss each other, and the teacher said that it's because mom is not feeling well. Generally, you can kiss after 7 days. I also asked the teacher why mom and dad can't hold them together. The teacher said that maybe mom is angry and doesn't want dad to hug." Qin Ziyuan raised her head at this time and said to Jiang Chen and Ran. Jiang Chen. Ran. "So, is mom angry with dad?" Qin Ziyuan looked at Ran's eyes with doubts. Ran. Ran did not respond to the two daughters, but looked at the teacher Chen Yuxin, asked about the child's recent situation, and chatted for a while. After that, he left with the two babies. "Mom, why are you angry with dad?" Qin Ziyuan asked as he walked. Qin Jinian on the side thought of something. She looked up at Ran, "Is it because my father didn't sleep with you, that's why I was angry?" Ran glanced sideways at the two daughters, "Shut up." Ran's angry look was still a bit scared in the hearts of the two children, so he stopped saying anything. As for Jiang Chen, he didn't say anything from beginning to end because it was inconvenient for him to say anything. Arrived at the parking lot, got in the car, and drove to Tianjing Garden. After nearly 20 minutes, I arrived at the villa. "Dad, why is mom always angry?" Qin Jinian asked while lying in Jiang Chen's arms while Ran went to the room. Jiang Chen put his arms around the two babies and said, "Mom is feeling sick recently, so she doesn't want to talk much. Don't stare at her and ask about other things recently. Ask dad if you have something to do." "Oh." The two children nodded seemingly. Ran walked out of the room at this moment. She sat on the other side of the sofa, glanced at the two daughters, and then looked at the TV. Until 5:30 in the afternoon. Jiang Chen got up and went to the kitchen to start busy, and Ran was also busy. By the time of 6 o'clock, all the dishes were ready. The four of them sat down and began to eat. From time to time, Jiang Chen gave the two babies food, and the two babies chatted with Jiang Chen from time to time, and occasionally chatted with Ran. At this time, Qin Jinian took some effort to put the dish in Ran's bowl. She looked at Ran and said, "Mom, I'm sorry, I made you angry." Upon seeing this, Qin Ziyuan also learned to prepare a dish for Ran. Ran couldn't help but feel warmth when seeing her two daughters picking vegetables for herself. At the same time, she thought to herself whether she was a little bit fierce towards her two daughters. But according to the situation in the afternoon, she couldn't help it. The questions asked by the two daughters made her not know how to answer. Especially when Jiang Chen was still on the sidelines, the two daughters asked those questions, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. After all, there is nothing between her and Jiang Chen now. "Mom is not angry, but I feel a little uncomfortable recently." Ran's tone softened a lot while looking at the two daughters. "Dad, take your mother to the hospital tomorrow." Qin Jinian looked at Jiang Chen and said. "Okay." Jiang Chen smiled, feeling that the two daughters are still quite sensible. When Ran heard her daughter's words, a warm feeling poured into her heart and her daughter still cared about her very much. After finishing the meal, Jiang Chen and Ran washed the pot and dishes together. After everything is busy. Ran took the two babies to take a bath first. As for Jiang Chen, there was nothing wrong with him, so he went to take a bath too. Jiang Chen washed faster and it took 10 minutes in total. Ran spent more time with the two babies, about 40 minutes. At this time, the two children were lying in Jiang Chen's arms and watching TV. As for Ran, they were sitting aside watching TV. Although Ran was watching TV, he was thinking about some things that happened today. Although she and Jiang Chen did a lot of things today, such as sending their children to kindergarten together, picking them up from school together, shopping for vegetables together, and cooking together. But she and Jiang Chen didn't talk much all day. Perhaps in Jiang Chen's eyes, she was a boring person. Jiang Chen didn't think so much, he thought about it during the day, no matter whether he would be with Ran in the future or with other women, everything would be what he wanted and let it go. It was 7:50 in the evening. There was a call from Jiang Chen's cell phone. Jiang Chen took a look. It was his younger sister Jiang Qinjian who called. Connected. Hello? Jiang Chen. Are you busy? Jiang Qinjian. Not busy. Jiang Chen glanced at Qin Ran and said to Jiang Qinjian on the phone. Come to school to pretend to be my boyfriend. Jiang Qinjian. Jiang Chen. A few seconds later. Jiang Chen's face suddenly sank and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He remembered this time in his previous life. My sister's classmates used many candles in the wide area of the school to form a love shape on the ground. This boy didn't know his sister very well, so he confessed with great fanfare. This kind of behavior will make many girls disgusted. One is because they don't know each other much. The second reason is that confession in this way of fanfare will give people a kind of psychological pressure. Some soft-hearted girls may feel that boys who refuse to confess in public will prevent the boys from coming to the stage, so they reluctantly agree to the boy's confession. Now, although there are not many boys who confess in a way that everyone knows about troubles, there are some. This kind of boy confessed to a girl who he didn't know very much in this way, just wanting to use the people watching the excitement around to yell. Together. Together. In order to create some romantic atmosphere for girls. Atmosphere can affect people's mood more or less, and because of the atmosphere, girls' minds are also not clear enough. In addition, if the confession is a soft-hearted girl, the success rate will be higher. If this soft-hearted girl has some vanity in her own right, then it is more likely to agree with the boys to confess. But this way of confession will also disgust some girls. I think boys are putting pressure on them in this way. His sister Jiang Qinjian was disgusted with this way of confession and felt that the boy who confessed was too scheming, so she rejected the boy in public. But a few days later, the boy felt that he lost face in public and was psychologically imbalanced. Chapter 22 isn't that someone who treats me well, I have to promise to be someone's girlfriend. Okay. Jiang Chen said to Jiang Qinjian on the phone. After chatting for a few words, he hung up the phone and Jiang Chen looked at Qin Ran. Before he could say anything, Qin Ran said, just be back before 10 o'clock. Thank you. Jiang Chen said. In any case, he is still working time and it is not good to go out of working hours. Jiang Chen got up and left. Dad, where are you going? The two children looked at Jiang Chen at this time. It's something to go out. Jiang Chen rubbed the heads of the two children before leaving here. Mom, where is Dad going? Qin Zhinian looked at Qin Ran next to her. Qin Ran shook her head slightly. Just when Jiang Chen answered the phone, she glanced at Jiang Chen and saw that Jiang Chen's face was not very good and there was a wave of anger in her expression, thinking about what happened. The TV sound was on just now. Although the TV sound was not loud, she couldn't hear the sound of the call. She could only hear that the voice on the other end of the phone was from a girl and the voice was very nice. Qin Ran was silent for a while, then picked up the phone and sent a message to the secretary Ning Ruoyan. Are you busy? Within a few seconds, Ning Ruoyan sent a message. I have just finished dinner with someone from the company and I am not busy. Qin Ran. Check Jiang Chen's position and see where he went. Ning Ruoyan. I'm fine, let's go and have a look. Qin Ran. I have worked hard and I will give you a bonus next month. Ning Ruoyan. No hard work, barring teeth JPG. Around the playground of Jiangning University, a lot of people gathered at this moment. A rough estimate would be more than 100 people gathered here. And these more than 100 students formed a circle at this time and their eyes fell on a young man and a girl in the center of the circle. Most of the boys' eyes fell on the girl. Looking at the girl, it was hard to look away, just want to keep staring and admiring. The girl looks about 173 centimeters tall and has a very good figure. The convex part is convex and the concave part is concave. It is not more than a point, not a few points, and it appears to be just right. He wears sneakers on his feet, cropped jeans on his legs, and a simple white short sleeve on his upper body, which looks neat and tidy. She doesn't apply Fenday on her face, but she seems to be naturally beautiful, even if she doesn't apply any embellishments, her skin looks white and tender. The appearance matches her figure very well, there is no one in her body, and her appearance is also a stunning one. If you look at the more than 100 people around you from the perspective of God, these 100 people stand there, as if they have become foils, setting off the young girl. Jiang Qinjian promised to be my girlfriend. The boy who spoke was the protagonist of today. He knelt on one knee, holding flowers in his hand, and looked at the young girl sincerely. Jiang Qinjian looked at him with a cold expression. I said, I don't like you. Besides, I have a boyfriend. The boy who confessed his confession was rejected by Jiang Qinjian again, his face instantly turned red and he felt embarrassed. He glanced at his surrounding classmates and saw that their eyes fell on him, which made his face even more flushed. Can't wait to find a seam to drill in immediately. However, there is no ground seemed to get in. The face of the boy who confessed changed. He looked at Jiang Qinjian and then said, "Promise to be my girlfriend. In front of so many people, I promise you that if you promise to be my girlfriend, I will definitely treat you good. Together. Together. Together." The male roommates who confessed all booed at this time, shouting together, together. Some people opened their heads and some people behind them joined in the fun and shouted together. Upon seeing this, Jiang Qinjian frowned and glanced at the booing people. "You have your problems. Didn't you hear what I just said? I have a boyfriend." After Jiang Qinjian's words came out, those who made a fuss also stopped talking. "Qinjian, you lied to me," I asked, "you don't have a boyfriend at all, can you just give me a chance?" The boy who confessed said at this time. He didn't believe Jiang Qinjian had a boyfriend because he had already watched Jiang Qinjian for a while. "Time is up. My boyfriend will come in a while, besides." Jiang Qinjian stared at the boy who confessed with a cold face and said coldly, "Even if I don't have a boyfriend, I won't promise to be with you. You say you will be nice to me. Isn't that who treats me well? I have to be someone's girlfriend. In addition." Jiang Qinjian continued coldly, "I know you very well. I don't even know your name, so you just confessed to me. You even called your roommate to make fun of you. Do you think every girl eats this set? Also, the confession is the icing on the cake after it has been caught up. It is a triumphant song of victory. It is not a clarion call for a charge of the stage." Jiang Qinjian looked at the boy who confessed, feeling very disgusted in her heart. She didn't know this boy very much and even the penguin hadn't been added, so she just confessed to herself. And still confess in this way. If it is a soft-hearted girl, I am afraid that it will be a shame for the boy to reject the boy in public and may reluctantly agree. And she just said tactfully that she has a boyfriend, so that doesn't mean that the boy who confessed will not be able to get off the stage. But who knows that the boy who confessed was just like he hadn't heard the sentence, he was still there to confess. In addition, several of his roommates were booing there, just like an atmosphere group. As long as you are not blind, you can see that the boy who confessed to the roommates discussed in advance. Confession in this way will put some girls under psychological pressure and some people may be forced to agree. But she doesn't eat the set, let alone this kind of person. At this moment, Jiang Qinjian saw a figure squeezed in from the crowd ahead and her face couldn't help showing a happy smile. "My boyfriend is here," Jiang Qinjian said to the boy who confessed and then walked towards Jiang Chen with a smile. "When I was next to Jiang Chen, I took Jiang Chen's arm naturally." End this scene. The onlookers at the scene looked at each other. Some people couldn't help directly saying, "FK. This confession drama is really wonderful. I really have a boyfriend." And the confession boy who was kneeling on one knee and holding flowers in his hand saw Jiang Qinjian holding Jiang Chen's arm with a smile, which made him feel like a clown. Especially with so many people present today and many people have been recording. I am afraid that after tonight, he will be the talking point for all the classmates to chat. Thinking of this, the boy who confessed his face gradually became gloomy. At this time, the atmosphere here was very quiet. After all, Jiang Qinjian's boyfriend is here, who knows what will happen next. At this time, they looked at the boy who confessed from time to time and then at Jiang Chen and Jiang Qinjian. Chapter 23 I also want to practice martial arts, add a V letter. Jiang Chen looked at the boy who confessed at this time. He remembered that in his previous life, the boy had failed to confess and became a conversational resource among his classmates in his free time. Photos of P pictures. Put his sister and some middle-aged men together. For example, P Cheng his sister got in a man's luxury car. Similar to this kind of P pictures, there are more than 20 P pictures. Because the P picture technology is very good, many people did not see the flaws at first. Then, many people started talking about his sister. Because of this, his sister has been angry for a long time. Later, I called the police and found out who sent the P picture and the matter finally stopped. At this time, Jiang Chen walked over to the boy who confessed unhurriedly. There was no expression on his face and his eyes calmly fell on the boy who confessed. When he walked to the boy who confessed, Jiang Chen looked at him calmly, "I am King Yun's boyfriend." After listening to the confession, the boy's face darkened. Is this warning himself? He calmly looked at Jiang Chen. "I saw Jiang Qinjian's Douyin favorite list and I liked a lot of videos about martial arts. Could it be that someone Jiang Qinjian likes is also Lian Jiazi?" Jiang Chen looked at him calmly, "I have practiced." After the boy who confessed, a fierce look flashed in the depths of his eyes and he looked at Jiang Chen, "I am practicing taekwondo and I want to learn it." After Jiang Qinjian heard this, her face changed slightly. Although she didn't understand the boy, she looked like a terrific look at the boy's expression. She said with a deep expression, "My boyfriend has only practiced for a month." Jiang Chen raised his hand and gently pushed Jiang Qingjin to the back. He looked at the boy who confessed and said calmly, "I can't talk about learning, we can learn from each other." When the onlookers saw this scene, they looked at each other. Are they unhappy with each other? For a while, many people picked up their mobile phones and started video recording. Jiang Qingjin was a little nervous, she took Jiang Chen's arm and said, "Forget it, what can I learn from each other?" The boy who confessed to see Jiang Qingjin caring about Jiang Chen so much, his heart became more uncomfortable. He looked at Jiang Chen and said solemnly, "Count to 1, start." Jiang Chen looked calm. "Don't." Jiang Qingjin took Jiang Chen's arm. "It's okay." Jiang Chen glanced at her. 3, 2, 1. The boy who confessed quickly counted 1 and kicked Jiang Chen's head directly with a high whip leg. NS. Jiang Chen signed in for world-class martial arts, and his keenness, anticipation, speed, strength and so on all reached the point where he couldn't make progress. When the boy who confessed was out of his legs, Jiang Chen judged the opponent's moves through the micro-movements of the opponent's limbs. Before the boy who confessed his kick, Jiang Chen's foot was as fast as lightning and instantly landed on the opponent's thigh. Boom. Everyone only heard a bang and they saw the confession boy screamed and then he flew 7 or 8 meters away and finally fell heavily to the ground. FK. FK. FCK. All the onlookers were dumbfounded. What is the strength of this foot? Pick a person 7 or 8 meters away. FK. Jiang Qingjin saw this scene and couldn't help but say FK, she was dumbfounded at the moment, kicking people so far with one foot, she has only seen it in movies and dramas. Seeing this scene in reality, the visual impact is too strong. At the same time, he is also very confused, why is her brother so strong? In the crowd. Ning Ruoyan was also dumbfounded. As early as Jiang Chen was rushing here, she followed all the way through the positioning installed in Jiang Chen's car. Then it kept recording. So far, I saw Jiang Chen kicking people 7 or 8 meters away. At this time, Jiang Chen calmly walked toward the boy who fell to the ground and confessed that his expression was painful. Walked to him, stretched out his hand and said calmly, "You are a little slow in getting out of your legs, so you need more practice." The boy who confessed his expression was painful. He heard Jiang Chen's words and couldn't help looking at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen's expression was calm, but there was a sense of majesty in his calm eyes. He could feel that Jiang Chen was warning him. The boy who confessed did not say anything, endured the pain, and stretched out his hand. After Jiang Chen pulled him up, he looked at Jiang Qingjin, "Let's go." Oh. Jiang Qingjin hasn't fully recovered from the scene just now. She is very confused at this time. Why is her brother so powerful? Pingyun. At this time, 3 girls ran over. These 3 girls were Jiang Qingjin's roommates. They had originally made an appointment to take a bath in the school's bathhouse, but Jiang Qingjin sent a message later, asking them to take a bath first. When they finished the bath and held their mobile phones, they saw photos and videos posted in several groups. In the photos and videos, Jiang Qingjin was confessed. So the 3 of them rushed over immediately and then they saw Jiang Chen discussing with the boy who confessed. Jiang Qingjin heard the sound and looked over. When he saw the 3 roommates, he didn't have a good air, "You are really slow to wash." One of the roommates took a look around and then said, "Say another place." Several people nodded and left here. Came to a section with fewer people. "Qingjin, don't you introduce your boyfriend?" One of the roommates glanced at Jiang Chen, then secretly glared at Jiang Qingjin, feeling a little upset and even talking about her boyfriend, he didn't even tell them. They were late at that time, but they also heard the people around them saying that Jiang Chen was Jiang Qingjin's boyfriend. After listening, Jiang Qingjin took Jiang Chen's arm and looked at the 3 roommates with a smile, officially introduce, "This is my brother, Jiang Chen, who is currently single." After hearing this, the 3 roommates were confused, "Not boyfriend. Is your brother?" Jiang Qingjin explained how the 3 roommates looked dumbfounded. Said to let Jiang Chen pretend to be her boyfriend. After the 3 roommates listened, they were surprised. "I see." But then, the 3 roommates couldn't help but look at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen is tall and handsome, especially the previous one, which is really 2 man. "Hello, this is King Yun's roommate Jiang Tingting." "Hello, my name is Tang Yi." "My name is Zhang Ying." "My name is Jiang Chen." Jiang Chen said lightly. "I just saw your kick and suddenly wanted to learn martial arts. Can I add a WeChat account to communicate with you later?" Jiang Tingting. Tang Yi. Zhang Ying. Both of them couldn't help looking at Jiang Tingting. Jiang Tingting started so fast. "Okay." Jiang Chen took out his mobile phone and opened the WeChat QR code. "Then I want to practice martial arts, so I should add one too." Tang Yi. "I also want to practice martial arts." Zhang Ying. "Add it." Jiang Chen faintly smiled. The 3 roommates of the younger sister might be fake if they want to practice martial arts, but adding him to Wetched is true. But he is not easy to refuse, after all, he is his sister's roommate and there is no need to refuse. Not far away. Ning Ruoyan has been quietly following the video. When she saw Jiang Qinjian's 3 roommates and Jiang Chen's Wetched account, her mind instantly tightened and she felt a strong sense of crisis. Chapter 24. Her brother secretly had 2 children. If one of Jiang Qinjian's 3 roommates looks right with Jiang Chen, what will the chairman do? No. Ning Ruoyan frowned, stopped recording, and then sent the previously recorded videos to Qin Ran one by one. In Villa number 001, Tianjing Garden. Qin Ran is watching cartoons in the living room with his 2 daughters, but Qin Ran's mind is not on the cartoons, but thinking, where is Jiang Chen at this late hour? Who is that girl on the phone? At this time. The Wetched message came from Qin Ran's mobile phone. Qin Ran looked at it and found it was Ning Ruoyan. Several videos were sent and she clicked in to watch them. I saw in the video, a nice girl walked towards Jiang Chen with a smile. When she came to Jiang Chen, she naturally took Jiang Chen's arm, looking like a couple. Seeing this, Qin Ran frowned slightly and felt a little puzzled. If this girl is Jiang Chen's girlfriend, why would Jiang Chen go on a blind date? She continued to watch as the lens in the video zoomed in to fully reveal Jiang Qinjian's face. Jiang Qinjian. When Qin Ran heard someone say Jiang Qinjian's name, her brows relaxed. Before, she asked Ning Ruoyan to check Jiang Chen's information. I know that Jiang Chen has a younger sister who is a junior at Jiangning University and her name is Jiang Qinjian. Qin Ran secretly breathed a sigh of relief and then watched the video. After a while. In the video, Jiang Chen discussed with the boy who confessed and kicked the boy who confessed about 7 meters away. Qin Ran reversed the time of the video and looked at it again when he saw the scene where the boy who confessed was kicked by Jiang Chen again. Qin Ran felt a little shocked, after all, this was a real kick. At the same time, her eyes were filled with doubts. According to the information she asked Ning Ruoyan to check, there was no information about Jiang Chen's martial arts practice. Moreover, during this period of time with Jiang Chen never revealed that he had practiced martial arts. With doubts in his heart, he continued to watch the video. When Jiang Qinjian's 3 roommates behind and Jiang Chen added Wetched, her brows frowned slightly. Especially when Jiang Qinjian introduced Jiang Chen to his roommate, he specifically emphasized that Jiang Chen is currently single. In other words, Jiang Qinjian also wants Jiang Chen to get out of the order. Qin Ran exited the video at this time, feeling a little irritable and a little headache. Originally, she was mainly concerned about Jiang Chen's blind date, but now she is concerned about Jiang Chen and those 3 roommates. At this time, Ning Ruoyan sent a message. That girl is Jiang Qinjian, Jiang Chen's biological sister. Qin Ran. Go back early to rest. Jiang Chen will have a blind date in Wanjuan building at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Ning Ruoyan. Okay. Qin Ran put away the phone and didn't say anything. He looked at the TV ahead, just a little absent-minded. Mom, when will Dad come back? At this moment, Qin Zhinian tilted his head and looked at Qin Ran. I remember that the mobile phone can play video with Dad. Qin Ziyuan said at this time. Mom, start a video with Dad and ask when Dad will be back. Qin Zhinian also remembered something and said to Qin Ran. Qin Ran. Before Jiang Chen left, she told Jiang Chen that she would be fine if she came back before 10 o'clock in the evening and it was only after 8 o'clock. But. Qin Ran remembered something, Jiang Chen should be with Jiang Qinjian and the 3 roommates at this time. Qin Ran glanced at the 2 daughters and said quietly, ask Dad yourself. At this time. Qin Ran opened Wetched, found Jiang Chen, and then initiated a video call. Qin Ran handed the phone to his 2 daughters. Qin Zhinian held the phone and leaned at the phone with Qin Ziyuan. Jiangning University. Jiang Chen was still chatting with Jiang Qinjian and Jiang Qinjian's 3 roommates while walking. At this time. Jiang Chen's Wetched sounded a reminder, Jiang Chen looked at it and it was a video call from Qin Ran. Jiang Chen clicked and the video was connected. Dad, when are you going home? As soon as the video started, Qin Zhinian and Qin Ziyuan immediately spoke out. The voices of the 2 children are not too loud, but because Jiang Chen is on the road with few people and the night is already quiet. Jiang Qinjian on the side and 3 of Jiang Qinjian's roommates all heard the 2 babies calling Jiang Chen Dad. And, the shouting is very natural. It's like yelling like this often. FK. Jiang Qinjian heard the voices of the 2 babies and instantly felt his scalp numb, as if some major incident had happened. She immediately leaned over and looked at Jiang Chen's phone. As for Jiang Qinjian's 3 roommates, Jiang Tingting, Tang Yi and Zhang Ying, they also approached immediately. They all thought Jiang Chen was really single. But now that they heard the voices of the two babies, the three of them instantly felt as if they had met a scumbag. When they looked at the two babies in Jiang Chen's phone, they didn't know whether it was a psychological suggestion or they felt that the two babies were indeed somewhat similar to Jiang Chen's. The three of them were even more sure at this time. These two girls, who were like little fairies, were Jiang Chen's biological daughter. FCK. The three of them glanced at each other and they all saw a hint of anger in the depths of each other's eyes. They were actually deceived. The problem is that even Jiang Qingjin lied to them. Brother, Jiang Qingjin's heart beat faster at this time. She looked at the two babies in the phone and felt like her brother. FCK. Her brother secretly had two children. As a real sister, she didn't even know her parents. I'll go back in a while. Jiang Chen said without paying attention to Jiang Qingjin, smiling at the two babies. How long is it? Qingjinian. Time to take a shower. Jiang Chen thought for a while and said. Okay, then dad come back quickly and I will ask my mother to cut fruit for you to eat. Qingjinian said. Okay. Jiang Chen chuckled lightly. After chatting for a few words, I hung up the video call. Brother, Jiang Qingjin looked at Jiang Chen at this time, only feeling that his mind was so confused. Her brother not only has two daughters. And also cohabited with the child's mother. The issue is. Obviously I have a child and I live with the child's mother. Why not tell my family? Wouldn't it be enough to just hold a banquet and get a marriage certificate? It's not that her brother has a special hobby, so he likes to drive without a license, right? Jiang Chen glanced at her and said with no anger, what do you think? These two babies are the daughter of the boss because the two babies do not have a father and I have brought a baby in her house during this period and the two babies subconsciously regard me as a dad. Jiang Qingjin believed, after all, her brother really didn't have to hide anything from the family. The issue is this really good? How old is your boss? Jiang Qingjin looked at Jiang Chen, observing Jiang Chen's expression. 26 years old. Jiang Chen said faintly. 26. Jiang Qingjin felt nervous after hearing this. She was still very young at the age of 26. If her brother and this female boss get along like this for a long time, maybe they will be in love with each other for a long time. Then. Her parents never thought of letting her brother marry a divorced and he has two children. There is no recommendation ticket, I think no one will watch it and there is no motivation code how to break it. Chapter 25. 10 favorite levels. Show me your boss's photo. Jiang Qingjin said at this time. The female boss is only 26 years old and she is still very young. There is a possibility that something will happen to her brother. If this female boss is still pretty. The chances of it happening with her brother will be even greater. Just judging from the appearance of the two babies, you can probably judge that the female boss is absolutely not bad. There is no photo in her circle of friends. Jiang Chen said lightly. At this time. Jiang Chen's WeChat phone rang again. Jiang Chen took a look and it was Qin Ran who called. When Jiang Qingjin and Jiang Tingting saw this, they all looked at Jiang Chen's mobile phone. Jiang Chen clicked and the video was connected. Dad, what kind of fruit do you eat? I'll let my mother cut it first. Qin Jinian said. Either way. Jiang Chen looked at the two babies in the video and a faint smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. The two babies were very caring about others and some warmth poured into his heart. On the sofa in the living room of Villa Tianjing Garden number 001, Qin Ran looked at Qin Jinian, who was holding a mobile phone, and said faintly, don't disturb dad, let dad be busy. At the same time, Qin Ran took the phone from Qin Jinian's hand. She looked at Jiang Chen in the video and said, it's okay to come back later. It's okay, I'll go back in a while. Jiang Chen said at this time. Yeah. Qin Ran. After chatting for a few words, he hung up the phone. There are fewer people in Jiangning University and a quieter section. Jiang Tingting 3 people. Jiang Qingjin's face was a bit unpleasant at this time, she just saw her brother's boss. Not only young. People are also very beautiful. Beautiful enough to be placed in this Jiangning University, all belong to the real school flower level. Even if it is on the internet, there are few women who can fight with all the women in the country. Young, long and beautiful, and live with her brother every day. And her brother himself accounted for Gao and handsome, in Gao Fu Shuai. There is a saying how to say it. It starts from the value of the face, falls into the talent, loyal to the character, obsessed with the body. Her brother and this female boss both have very good looks, then, it is possible to be together. If we are together. Jiang Qingjin didn't dare to think about it anymore. Anyway, her parents won't accept it 80%. You work at her, how much is it for a month? Jiang Qingjin asked when looking at Jiang Chen. A monthly salary of 50,000 plus a monthly reward. Jiang Chen. Jiang Qingjin originally wanted Jiang Chen to resign, but he heard a monthly salary of 50,000. You have to pay attention, my parents probably won't agree to marry a divorce and bring a baby, Jiang Qingjun reminded. After Jiang Chen heard this, he gave her a glance, I have nothing to do with her. Don't tell your parents about this in advance, so you don't worry about it. Jiang Qingjun had planned to call his mother later, after all, this matter is still quite serious. I know what I do. Jiang Chen said at this time. In the past few days of Rebirth, he felt that getting along with Qinran was okay. Although he and Qinran often don't know what to talk about, this is not very important. After all, the relationship between him and Qinran is not at that level. After they get acquainted, they will naturally talk more. Jiang Qingjun glanced at Jiang Chen. Although her brother said so, what if? 200. Jiang Chen said faintly at this moment. Jiang Qingjun, do you think this is a matter of money? 500. Jiang Chen. You're insulting me. Jiang Qingjun. 2000. Jiang Chen. Jiang Qingjun. The last offer, 3000. Jiang Chen. Jiang Qingjun struggled for a while and finally gritted his teeth, okay. But don't let me find something wrong with your boss, otherwise, no matter how much hush money is given, I have to tell my parents. Jiang Chen glanced at her and then Wecha transferred 3000 yuan to Jiang Qingjun. Time is almost up, I have to go back. Jiang Chen said. Drive slowly. Jiang Qingjun. Jiang Chen looked at Jiang Tingting's 3 people at this time, smiled and said, bye. Goodbye. Jiang Tingting looked at Jiang Chen and waved gently. After Jiang Chen left. Jiang Qingjun glanced at the 3 Jiang Tingting and then said, what do you think of my brother? Do you want to chase? I'll help you. Jiang Tingting and the 3 originally wanted to chase Jiang Chen. After all, Jiang Chen is tall and handsome, with a very good appearance, and coupled with a high level of strength, especially when we were discussing with that person today. It looks so cool. But. Thinking of Qinran's face just now, the 3 of them couldn't help but feel ashamed of themselves, and they were very emboldened. Jiang Chen lives with such a beautiful female boss every day, how could he fall in love with them? Although they are not bad in length. Forget it. Jiang Tingting. Well, forget it. Zhang Ying and Tang Yi also expressed their opinions. Jiang Qingjun was speechless, she couldn't tell that these 3 roommates felt inferior. Although her brother's boss is really beautiful. About 15 minutes passed. Jiang Chen went to villa number 001 in Tianjing Garden. Dad, come and eat fruit. Qin Zhinian said when he saw Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen walked over with a faint smile. Sitting in the middle of the 2 babies. Dad, eat oranges. Qin Zhinian put a petal of orange in his hand to Jiang Chen's mouth. Dad, eat grapes. Qin Ziyuan put the grapes in his hand to Jiang Chen's mouth. Jiang Chen ate with a smile, rubbing the heads of the 2 children. Seeing this scene, Qinran felt a little uncomfortable in his heart, feeling that these 2 daughters were a little bit leaky. Fortunately, I have often seen this scene these days and I have gradually got used to it psychologically. Until 10 o'clock in the evening, the 2 babies were sleepy and Jiang Chen took the 2 babies back to the room to rest first. Qinran also went back to the room to rest. Qinran leaned back on the bed and looked at the phone thoughtfully. Judging from the contacts in the past few days, she has a good impression of Jiang Chen and Jiang Chen's words and deeds also affected her mood. Perhaps. She already likes Jiang Chen. If you like to divide it into 10 levels. The first level. Not disgusted with each other, willing to contact each other. The second level. Have a good impression of the other party, you can chat online. The third level. If you don't chat or see each other for a day, you will feel a little empty in your heart. The fourth level. Willing to have more contact with each other, such as dating, not disgusted with slight physical contact with each other. 10th level. I open my eyes and close my eyes. I miss the other person very much. I want the other person to be by my side 24 hours a day and I really want to integrate myself and the other person thoroughly. I should be the 4th level now. Qinran thought to himself, but what's the use? I'm with Jiang Chen every day, but I don't know what to talk about, as if I can only let the flow go. Chapter 26 No one can die in the belly. Qinran thought about it, wondering how to get along with Jiang Chen in the future. Do you continue to go with the flow or deliberately talk about something? After thinking about it for a while, Qinran felt that it was better to let the flow go. It might be counterproductive to deliberately talk about something. In addition. Before, she asked Ning Ruoyan to investigate Jiang Chen's personal emotional experience. If Jiang Chen's personal emotional experience is fine, then maybe she should take the initiative, otherwise, it will change later. After all, she already feels a little bit about Jiang Chen now, and what's worse now is her sense of security. Only when she is sure that Jiang Chen's character is really fine, she will get along with Jiang Chen one step closer. One more thing, the time she spent with Jiang Chen was too short, so wait for a while, that's it. 10:30 am the next day. Jiang Chen drove to Wenjuan building. At 10:45, Jiang Chen arrived at Wenjuan building. When the waiter at the door saw Jiang Chen, he couldn't help being stunned. Jiang Chen had a blind date in Wenjuan building 3 times before and every time he made some noise, but now is going to have a 4th blind date. At noon, "Sir, how many are you?" the waiter asked with a smile. 2. Jiang Chen said faintly. He looked at the waiter and saw other meanings revealed in the waiter's eyes, which made him a little speechless. "This is the 4th blind date in Wenjuan building. Sir, please." The waiter smiled and brought Jiang Chen to table A6. Jiang Chen sat down. First ordered a bottle of drink and drank it. At the same time, looking at the blind date information sent by my mother on the phone. Name: Li Yuanyuan. Age: 25. Education: college. Height: 165 centimeters. Weight: 100 kilograms. Work: real estate sales. Good health and no genetic diseases. After Jiang Chen glanced at it, he didn't look at it again. For him, the blind date now is nothing more than going through the blind date of the previous life, it is nothing more than the system that can sign in. At this time, the figure passed by Jiang Chen and sat directly at the A5 table behind Jiang Chen. This figure was wearing a mask, women's sunglasses, and a sun visor on his head. He did not remove the hat, sunglasses, and mask until he sat down. She glanced at Jiang Chen in front of her, thinking. Jiang Chen had seen her last time, and now she wants to come, even if she sees her, she can't be recognized. After all, people's memories will slowly fade away, not to mention that Jiang Chen just glanced at her that day. Ning Ruoyan didn't say anything, so she ordered a bottle of beverage and drank it first. About 5 minutes passed. The figure walked in the hall, with high heels and a one-piece hip skirt, giving people a sense of workplace. As for the appearance, it is of medium appearance. She glanced at the hall at this time and quickly locked her gaze on Jiang Chen's body. Height hasn't shrunk and the long one is handsome. Li Yuanyuan thought to herself that Jiang Chen's appearance conditions are exactly the same as those on the blind date and the real person looks better than the photos, which is a surprise. Li Yuanyuan walked towards Jiang Chen. "Jiang Chen?" Li Yuanyuan looked at Jiang Chen with a smile. Jiang Chen looked at Li Yuanyuan and nodded, "Sit down." Li Yuanyuan sat down with a smile. Jiang Chen, as always, went straight to the subject, wasting time lazily. After all, the 10 blind dates in the previous life, except for the last blind date with Liu Na, were not bad. The first 9 blind dates were quite annoying, and there was a response. Jiang Chen looked at her and said quietly, "Because it's a blind date, so let's go straight to the subject and make sure that there is nothing wrong. Then continue talking, how about?" After listening to Li Yuanyuan, she felt that Jiang Chen was a refreshing person. But when Zhenjie Bajing was talking about business, her face gradually became a little serious. "Okay." Li Yuanyuan nodded lightly. "First talk about your mate selection requirements," Jiang Chen said while looking at her. Li Yuanyuan thought about it for a moment and then said, "The height should be between 178 centimeters and 183 centimeters, no less than 178 centimeters, and no higher than 183 centimeters. The body should be thin and short, you should never be fat." Li Yuanyuan continued, "In addition, if you get married, you must have a wedding room and never live with your parents. The wedding room must also be bought in full. The community where the wedding room is located must not be an old community, for example, this community has already passed 15 years. There were also cars, not to mention Audi, BMW and Mercedes-Benz, but also a car worth 200,000 plus, and it must be the full price." As for the bride price, Li Yuanyuan pondered for a while, she looked at Jiang Chen and said, "The bride price is not high, just 188,000. "That's right." Li Yuanyuan remembered something and added, "The house must be a new house, not a second-hand house. If someone else has lived in a house, I will be a little bit distracted. It has to be a new car or a car that others have driven. It is not good. Another thing is that after I get married, I have to take charge of the family's financial affairs." Li Yuanyuan looked at Jiang Chen and smiled, "In the blind date, you have a wedding room?" I asked the introducer. "Your wedding room is a new house and the height meets my requirements." "It's a car." The introducer said, "Your car? It's a second-hand one. If you get married, you have to get a new car." After Li Yuanyuan finished speaking, the smile on her face gradually disappeared and she became a little serious. She stared at Jiang Chen and said, "If you change a car with 200,000 plus a gift of 188,000, I can get married. Give you. By the way, I almost forgot." Li Yuanyuan remembered something, she looked at Jiang Chen and asked, "I look at the information, saying that your job is a nanny?" "Yeah." Jiang Chen. Li Yuanyuan frowned slightly, whether it was a woman or a man who was a babysitter, she felt very shameless to talk about it. If you are married, you must change jobs. It is best to start a business directly. Not to mention how big a shop is, at least it is a shop. It's better to speak out. Li Yuanyuan said. What else can you add? Jiang Chen looked at her and said calmly. Li Yuanyuan thought about it, she looked at Jiang Chen and said, that's it for the time being, if I just said, if you don't think there is any problem, we can make an appointment at the beginning of next month. Jiang Chen glanced at her, there is nothing wrong with the above, can we set a kiss next month? Have you asked his opinion? It's as if he doesn't have a mate requirement. Jiang Chen pondered for a while, looked at her, and whispered, after talking about your mate selection request, it's time to talk about my mate selection request. After Li Yuanyuan heard this, her brows frowned slightly, Jiang Chen still asked for a mate. Is it possible that her external conditions are bad? I wonder if men are more than 30 million more than women now. You said. Li Yuanyuan. There is a premarital checkup before marriage. It is not required to be there for the first time, but you must never die in your stomach. Nor can you secretly give birth to a child. Jiang Chen looked at her and wanted to continue, but was suddenly interrupted by Li Yuanyuan. Li Yuanyuan sullen her face, staring at Jiang Chen coldly, you have died in your belly. You blame the woman. Didn't it happen by a man? How could a woman die in the belly without a man? Chapter 27 What is the best way to attract boys? After Jiang Chen heard this, his face was slightly cold. He looked at Li Yuanyuan and said coldly, the other man did it. It's my shit. Why should I pay the bill? Also. Jiang Chen's tone was slightly cold. You said you want a new house. If you live in a house that someone else has lived in, you will need a new car. You think the car that someone else has driven is always bad. As long as I have never died in my stomach. No children out there. Is this too demanding? I haven't said that I want you to be there for the first time. Li Yuanyuan's face was slightly gloomy after hearing this. She stared at Jiang Chen with a slightly mean tone, I am afraid that not many women can meet your request. Now there are more than 30 million men than women. Don't get married as soon as possible, wait later. Haha you can only find women who are divorced and have children. N.S. Ning Ruoyan, who was at the back table, was very upset when she heard this. She immediately put on a mask and sunglasses and then looked at Li Yuanyuan coldly and said coldly, don't think you are a lousy product, just feel that all women it's all bad stuff. Li Yuanyuan's face became more gloomy when she heard the sound. She stared at Ning Ruoyan and a vicious color flashed in her eyes. After Ning Ruoyan said this, she felt that she couldn't stay any longer, lest Jiang Chen remember her face, and it would be difficult to follow Jiang Chen in the future. Ning Ruoyan went directly to the bar and left after paying the money. And because of Ning Ruoyan's words, many guests in the hall focused on Li Yuanyuan and Jiang Chen. Li Yuanyuan saw that some people even used cell phones to make videos secretly, which made her expression more gloomy. She directly picked up the bag, gave Jiang Chen a vicious look, and then left. Jiang Chen didn't say anything. He ordered a few dishes and played with his mobile phone. Bing. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking a round for the man. You have a chance to sign in. Whether to sign in. Sign in. Jiang Chen muttered silently. Bing. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for gaining 3 centimeters increase. Reminder. Increase 3 centimeters, it can act on the host's whole body, such as increasing the height by 3 centimeters and increasing the optional parts, such as increasing the legs by 3 centimeters. When Jiang Chen heard this reward, his first reaction never thought of increasing his height by 3 centimeters. But. The mission of the system is to promote marriage harmony and increase happiness. Jiang Chen remembered the mission that the system had said when he first bound the system and then imagined a total of 4 sign-in rewards. Odd-level culinary talent. World-class martial arts skills. 10 times cooler talent. Plus the current increase of 3 centimeters. Every reward is related to promoting harmony in marriage and increasing happiness. Odd-level culinary talent can make husband and wife want to eat at home every day instead of eating out. World-class martial arts skills can give the family enough sense of security. 10 times more refreshing talent can make his wife addicted and only get tired of cooking himself every day. An increase of 3 centimeters, as long as it does not affect the height, can also increase the couple's happiness index. This system is professional enough. Jiang Chen thought to himself, if anyone marries him in the future, wouldn't it be a happy death? Thinking about it, Jiang Chen was a little envious of his future wife. I don't know who his wife will be in the future. Qin Ran. Jiang Chen shook his head slightly. From the current point of view, he has some feelings for Qin Ran. His wife in the future may be Qin Ran, but it may not be. Jiang Chen shook his head lightly. He was getting along with Qin Ran first and waited for a nod in his heart to speak. After Rebirth, he was bound to the blind date sign-in system and he knew that he would go on a blind date with Liu Na again in the subsequent blind date. Liu Na, wife of a previous life. In his life, he stayed for a long time. When I first went on blind date with Liu Na, Liu Naxian was very self-reliant and had a good character quality. But in the next few times he got along, he learned that Liu Na had just broken up for a month. The reason for the breakup was that the boy's family conditions were poor. Liu Na's parents resolutely disagreed and threatened Liu Na by severing the relationship. Liu Na was forced to break up before going on a blind date with herself. After learning of this at the time, he felt very uncomfortable. After all, Liu Na had someone else living in her heart, so she went on blind date with him without making room and he was ready to get engaged when he knew about it. Later, he talked to Liu Na about it. Liu Na said that during the time of the breakup, her ex-boyfriend had been engaged to someone. Liu Na said that she wanted to marry herself, let time dilute everything, and forget her old love with her new love. When talking about this with Liu Na at the time, he felt very uncomfortable. After all, the woman who was going to marry him still had other men living in his heart. But at that time, because of the blind date too many times, he also had a broken mentality and he didn't want to ask for a perfect partner. Just live with a partner. In addition, Liu Na's ex-boyfriend is already engaged and Liu Na is also willing to use the engagement method to break with the past. He didn't say anything. It didn't take long after I married Liu Na. Liu Na's ex-boyfriend was filmed and posted on the internet. In the video, Liu Na's ex-boyfriend seemed to have drunk a lot of alcohol and the whole person was talking drunkly, saying that he was not engaged to someone and that he said that he was engaged because he wanted to completely break the relationship with Liu Na. Then, as if his brain was fragmented, he cried and said that he loves Liu Na again. After that, Liu Na's ex-boyfriend was walking on the road because he drank too much and was hit and killed by a speeding car. Liu Na saw the video posted online by netizens. On the spot, Liu Na didn't hold back her tears and cried there. As Liu Na's husband, at that moment, he sympathized with Liu Na and felt pitiful at the same time. Because he married a wife who had another man in his heart. At first, he still wanted to slowly run in with Liu Na and cultivate a relationship. But then Liu Na drank too much a few times, talked in sleep there, and kept calling that man's name. Also, when doing husband and wife affairs, he always felt that Liu Na imagined him as that man. This feeling made him very angry. Therefore, in the later years of husband and wife affairs, he would be annoyed in his heart and would not be so gentle with Liu Na. In order to make him mentally balanced. But at the same time, he also created a deep estrangement with Liu Na. Once the estrangement occurs, it is difficult to repair it. Later, he rarely went home. After making money, he often went to the club to rest and many one-night stands also occurred. And all this, Liu Na knows. But it doesn't matter between the two. It was not until the child became an adult that the divorce was filed. Jiang Chen recalled his previous life and after the memory was over, the whole person's state was a bit bad. At this time, the waiter brought the dishes. When Jiang Chen saw this, he gradually recovered his senses and then began to eat. On the other side, in the chairman's office. In Ran received the video from Ning Ruoyan. After watching the video, she felt a little sympathetic to Jiang Chen. 4 consecutive blind dates, but they all broke up on the spot. I am afraid that if the blind date goes on, Jiang Chen will have a shadow in his heart and he may even break the jar and find someone to live with him. But this is both good and bad for her. Jiang Chen could not meet a suitable blind date girl, but the disadvantages are also obvious. After seeing too many blind date girls of this kind, if he meets a better blind date girl a little bit, he might. Thinking of this, Qin Ran's heart tightened slightly. She searched the internet. What is the best way to attract boys? Chapter 28. Can I drink some? Search the answer content of the post. I dream. If you have good looks and good character quality, you can basically attract boys. Mother of 3 babies. Is it not easy to attract men? Men are both visual animals and feeling animals. As long as they dress up better and then have some slight physical contact with boys, this kind of hazy feeling can definitely arouse men's eroticism. My boyfriend is too bad. Same as above, talk to guys more and be gentle and considerate. By the way, remember to have proper physical contact with guys, don't overdo it, pay attention to a good scale, otherwise boys will think you are not serious. Hey, where is my husband? Fortunately, I feel that I have good looks, kindness, can chat, and generally attract boys. The higher the value, the better. In Ran couldn't help thinking while looking at the content searched in the phone. There is nothing wrong with her appearance, but let her chat with Jiang Chen. It's not that she doesn't want to talk, it's just that she doesn't have a good starting point. If she talks forcibly, it will only be embarrassing. And let her have physical contact with Jiang Chen. It feels difficult. Although the two daughters asked her to hug and kiss Jiang Chen from time to time, this request was too much for her to agree to. So, how to do? Inran had a headache. It seemed that this matter had to be carefully considered. In addition, Ning Ruoyan had to pay close attention to Jiang Chen's personal emotional experience. After checking and confirming that there was no problem, she could take the next step. Inran immediately sent a message to Ning Ruoyan. How about Jiang Chen's personal emotional experience? Ning Ruoyan. It's still investigating. You have to get close to his friends and his former roommates and classmates. You have to find an entry point so that you can't let the other party be alert to find anything. Ning Ruoyan. But I also found out that Jiang Chen had talked with 5 girlfriends on the North Campus of Jiangning University. Inran. 5. Ning Ruoyan. Well, because of what we were together and because of what we broke up, we are still investigating, but I found some bad news. Ning Ruoyan. One of the girlfriends Jiang Chen talked with at Jiangning University was dumped by Jiang Chen. When the breakup, the girl cried and begged Jiang Chen to get back together, but the reason for the breakup has not been found out yet. Inran frowned when he saw the message from Ning Ruoyan. Jiang Chen dumped others. That girl asks Jiang Chen to get back together. On the surface, it seemed that it was Jiang Chen's fault, but she would not easily draw conclusions because of what was on the surface. She had to investigate deeply. Inran. Mainly staring at this investigation. Ning Ruoyan. It is estimated that the only people who know the reason for the breakup may only be a few of Jiang Chen's friends and good classmates. I have asked someone to check it. Inran. Yes. Inran put away the phone and didn't say anything. It was just that she originally wanted to get in touch with Jiang Chen further and her thoughts were temporarily suppressed. First, figure out why the girlfriend Jiang Chen talked about dumped her. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Jiang Chen asked the 2 children to sit on the sofa and watch TV obediently. As for himself, he went to the kitchen to work. By 5:30, the meal was ready and Qin Ran came back just then. Wash your hands and eat. Jiang Chen said to Qin Ran. Qin Ran hummed softly. After a while, the 4 of them sat down. Dad, I want to eat that braised pork. Qin Zhinian. I want to eat braised pork. Qin Ziyun. Jiang Chen smiled and put a few pieces of braised pork for the 2 babies. Qin Ran, who was sitting across from him, glanced at Jiang Chen. She felt that Jiang Chen didn't look like a scumbag after all this time of contact. Ning Ruoyan found out that Jiang Chen dumped a girlfriend when he was in college. Inran pondered for a while, found an entry point and asked in a casually chatting tone, how about the blind date? After Jiang Chen heard this, he couldn't help looking at Qin Ran. Qin Ran took the initiative to ask him about private matters very rarely. Jiang Chen said calmly, it collapsed. Qin Ran didn't ask why he collapsed, but instead said, I collapsed after 4 blind dates. Have you ever thought about getting in touch with your former classmates? After all, you're classmates, you know each other, and you're familiar with each other. It's better than a blind date. Jiang Chen looked at Qin Ran with some doubts in his heart. Qin Ran asked him to contact his former classmates. What is the purpose of Qin Ran saying this? Or just want to find a topic and chat? Jiang Chen didn't think deeply, but answered this question seriously. He said, I also thought about it, but some of those female classmates are married, some of them are engaged, and some have a partner, even if they don't have a partner. I might not get along with each other. Qin Ran glanced at Jiang Chen and said calmly, did you talk about your girlfriend when you were in college? Jiang Chen looked at her and couldn't help thinking, after Qin Ran said so much, he finally brought the topic to the person he talked about in college. Want to understand his emotional experience. Jiang Chen nodded lightly, but said nothing. Qin Ran pondered for a while, glanced at Jiang Chen, and said in a casual tone, can you talk about why you broke up? Jiang Chen felt that Qin Ran talked a little bit today. I don't want to mention it much. Jiang Chen said after a while pondering. Qin Ran. This concludes the topic. After eating and cleaning up, they all went to take a shower first, and after taking a shower, they sat on the sofa and watched TV. As always, the 2 babies were lying in Jiang Chen's arms, and Qin Ran was still on the other side of the sofa. However, the TV shows a cartoon, Jiang Chen and Qin Ran have no interest, just to pass the time. After a while. The cartoon jumped to the advertising time. Seeing this, Qin Zhinian picked up the remote control on the side and changed the channel. When the screen was switched, I saw the male and female protagonists passionately kissing on the TV. Wow, Qin Zhinian saw Qin Ziyun and couldn't help widening his eyes, looking like a curious baby. Qin Ran. Jiang Chen. Mom and Dad, have you seen it? Qin Zhinian turned to look at Qin Ran first and then at Jiang Chen. Qin Ran. Jiang Chen. Mom and Dad, can you kiss me? After Qin Ziyun finished speaking, he suddenly thought of something, I almost forgot. The teacher said that my mother is not feeling well. I will have to wait 7 days. Now it is the next day. In ran. Jiang Chen. Mom and Dad, in 5 days, will you kiss you like this, okay? I will video you with Xian. Qin Zhinian looked at Qin Ran. Qin Ran glanced at Qin Zhinian, pretending to be majestic, not good. Why? Qin Zhinian asked in confusion. Qin Ziyuan on the side thought of something, she looked at Qin Ran, the teacher said, Mom and Dad will kiss each other, why doesn't Mom and Dad kiss? Is it disgusting with Dad? Qin Ran. Mother? Qin Ran was speechless. The 2 daughters kept asking, and she didn't know how to answer. She gave the 2 daughters a sideways glance, watch your cartoons. After that, Qin Ran got up and went to the wine cabinet. She took out a bottle of red wine and 2 glasses. She glanced at Jiang Chen on the other side of the sofa, drink something. P.S. Thank you Xiaoshan for your reward, now it is 3 more a day. Chapter 29 Take pictures from all angles. After listening, Jiang Chen couldn't help but looked over, then nodded lightly, and walked over. Sit down at the wine table. Qin Ran poured 2 glasses of red wine and pushed one to Jiang Chen's side. Jiang Chen shook the wine glass gently, without saying anything. Qin Ran didn't say anything. After a while, Qin Ran glanced at Jiang Chen. She wanted to say something, but suddenly realized that she didn't know what to talk about. Jiang Chen felt this way too, maybe the way he and Qin Ran get along is a bit special. Although I don't chat much, I feel okay. That's all. The 2 drank some wine from time to time, but the red wine was not high in strength and it was not easy to get drunk. Both of them are sober. But this kind of only drinks but doesn't talk about anything, this kind of atmosphere is a bit weird. Qin Ran was silent for a while. When he was awake, he didn't know what to talk about, or would he want to say something when he was drunk? Or maybe Jiang Chen is drunk and she can get something out of Jiang Chen's mouth. Drink some white. Qin Ran looked at Jiang Chen. Okay. Jiang Chen also felt that he didn't say anything and it was a bit bad. If he kept on like this, he felt a little embarrassed. After he was drunk, he might be able to say something. Qin Ran went to get a bottle of white wine, took 2 clean glasses again, and then filled them up. It's easy to get drunk only by drinking. I'll get some food and drink. Jiang Chen said and went to the kitchen. A few minutes later, Jiang Chen got a plate of peanuts. Jiang Chen didn't say anything. He took a sip of white wine for himself. He wanted to wait until he was drunk to see what Qin Ran wanted to do. Qin Ran didn't say anything. He drank white wine and ate 2 peanuts occasionally. It looked like 20 minutes later. Jiang Chen had already finished most of his cup. Qin Ran also finished most of the white wine. At this time, the 2 of them are a little bit up and feel a little dizzy in their heads, but their minds are still very clear. How much alcohol can you drink? At this moment, Jiang Chen looked at Qin Ran with a bewildered look. Usually I don't drink, and when socializing, I will not drink when I am slightly drunk. I have never tried to get drunk. Qin Ran looked at Jiang Chen, his eyes were a little confused, but his consciousness was normal. Jiang Chen hummed softly. Did this cup? Jiang Chen looked at her. Qin Ran didn't say anything, she raised the cup and touched Jiang Chen and then drank it all in one fell swoop. She was not afraid of drinking too much, what Jiang Chen would do to her. Because according to the information she checked on the internet, if a man is 3-point drunk, it doesn't affect anything. But if you drink more than 7 minutes drunk, you can't do anything you want, you can only sleep a lot. And now she felt that Jiang Chen was already 5 minutes drunk and it was almost done with another drink. Qin Ran filled the 2 empty glasses, then glanced at Jiang Chen before taking a sip first. Jiang Chen didn't say anything and took a sip first. He only felt his head dizzy at the moment, but this feeling also made him very comfortable because when he was drunk, he could temporarily forget his worries. It took more than half an hour. Qin Zhinian and Qin Ziyuan walked over. Seeing that their parents were both drunk and still drinking, they couldn't help saying, Mom and Dad, don't drink. Qin Ran glanced at the 2 daughters. At this moment, she only felt that everything was dangling. Although the consciousness was still very clear, she said, you go back to the house and rest first. Oh, the 2 children looked at Qin Ran, then looked at Jiang Chen, thinking to themselves, anyway, at home, it's okay to drink too much. So, the 2 children went back to the room and rested first. Still drinking. Jiang Chen glanced at Qin Ran with a confused look. Qin Ran glanced at the wine glass, there was still a sip of wine in the glass, she said in a daze, drink this glass. Jiang Chen glanced at his wine glass, then picked it up and drank the wine in the glass. Qin Ran also drank all the wine in the glass at this time. After drinking. Go to sleep. Qin Ran looked at Jiang Chen in a daze and sighed slightly. Yeah. Jiang Chen. Qin Ran got up just after taking a step, his figure shook and he fell directly to the ground. When Jiang Chen saw this, he couldn't help being next to the table and went to Qin Ran's place. He wanted to help Qin Ran up, but he also drank too much. He just squatted down a little and couldn't stand his feet directly. He leaned forward and faced. He fell on Qin Ran's body. Qin Ran was confused, but she also felt Jiang Chen pressing her down. She subconsciously wanted to push Jiang Chen away, but her head was dizzy and her body was boring. In addition, she drank too much. I also wanted to sleep. After a few pushes, I stopped pushing. As for Jiang Chen, his head was dizzy. He was easily drowsy after drinking too much, but he still remained awake and wanted to stand up, but just as he held it up with his arms, he suddenly felt boring and fell on Qin Ran again. Body. I tried to stand up several times in a row without success. In addition, I was getting sleepy and slowly fell asleep directly on Qin Ran's body. Late at night. When people fall asleep, they can't help but put themselves in a comfortable position to sleep. When you have something to hug, it is naturally more comfortable to sleep with something. Jiang Chen unconsciously held Qin Ran in his arms with his feelings, how comfortable he was. The same was true for Qin Ran. She unconsciously arched into Jiang Chen's arms with her feeling, and the right leg was naturally placed on Jiang Chen's. Early the next morning. The two babies woke up earlier. Qin Zhinian and Qin Ziyuan opened their eyes in a daze. The two were holding each other. The moment they opened their eyes, the two babies looked at each other for a while, until their consciousness gradually became clear. The two children sat up and looked around. Dad and Mom seemed to be drunk last night. Qin Zhinian said to Qin Ziyuan. Qin Ziyuan said, Mom and Dad should have been up a long time ago. The two children got out of bed at this time and went to find their parents. When I arrived in the living room, I saw the floor next to the wine table. Mom and Dad were sleeping together with their arms around. The two children were still a little confused, but seeing this scene, the only remaining sleepiness was wiped out in an instant and they became extraordinarily awake. Mom and Dad are holding each other. Qin Zhinian and Qin Ziyuan couldn't help but glance at each other. Quickly take a picture, Qin Ziyuan said excitedly. Qin Zhinian nodded heavily, then found Qin Ran's phone and take pictures from various angles. There were also videos. Use Dad's phone again to shoot. Qin Zhinian found Jiang Chen's phone but didn't know the pattern code to unlock it. But she remembered something. Sometimes when Mom turned on the phone, she put her finger directly on the back of the phone and the phone turned on automatically. Holding Jiang Chen's mobile phone, Qin Zhinian went to the side of Jiang Chen and placed Jiang Chen's finger behind the mobile phone. After that, Jiang Chen's cell phone turned on. Although Qin Zhinian didn't know many words, he knew the familiar camera icon, turned on the camera and took pictures from all angles. Chapter 30 The First Kiss, that's it. Qin Zhinian whispered to Qin Ziyuan at this time, you hold Mom and Dad's heads to make Mom and Dad kiss each other. Okay. Qin Ziyuan's eyes lit up and then squatted down, pressing his head with one hand, causing Jiang Chen to touch Qin Ran's mouth. Click, click, click. Qin Zhinian saw this and immediately started taking pictures. After the filming is over, start recording again. After a little while. Qin Zhinian and Qin Ziyuan looked at each other and then the two left here in case their mother woke up and beat them up. After all, my mother doesn't seem to want to kiss my father. It took more than half an hour. Jiang Chen and Qin Ran woke up almost at the same time. The two opened their eyes in a daze. When a fuzzy face appeared in their sight, the two of them gave a slight shock. Then they became sober for an instant and they both saw each other clearly. Jiang Chen felt a little soft on his mouth. This is. Qin Ran also felt the lips. Qin Ran. Jiang Chen. The two separated immediately, then slowly stood up. Jiang Chen was a little confused at this time, why did he kiss Qin Ran? He tried to remember what happened yesterday. Yesterday, he drank too much with Qin Ran and then Qin Ran fell to the ground. He wanted to help Qin Ran in the past. But when he squatted down to help Qin Ran, he didn't stand firm and fell directly onto Qin Ran. He doesn't know the rest. He only knows that he slept very well last night. On the other side, Qin Ran was also very confused and at the same time feeling very embarrassed, not knowing how to get along with Jiang Chen behind. She only knew that she had drunk too much yesterday and then she fell down and then to the back, Jiang Chen seemed to want to help her, but Jiang Chen fell directly on her. After that. She didn't know. Qin Ran didn't say anything, didn't look at Jiang Chen, she was a little afraid to look at Jiang Chen now, she went back to her bedroom and took a shower first. As for Jiang Chen. I don't know what to do. After half an hour. Qin Ran finished the bath, changed his clothes, looked for the phone, and found that the battery was a little bit low, so he charged the phone first. She stayed in the bedroom and did not dare to go out. She was afraid that she would be a little embarrassed to see Jiang Chen after going out. The first kiss is gone. Qin Ran couldn't help thinking about the previous scene. When she woke up, she was with Jiang Chen. At that time, she had no extra feelings other than ignorance. Ayn Rand stroked her forehead lightly. The matter was over. She didn't know what to do. She picked up the mobile phone that was charging. Play around at will, without purpose. But playing with it, it suddenly occurred to her that the two daughters had taken pictures of her and Jiang Chen with their mobile phones a few days ago. Not knowing what was going on, she wanted to take a look at the pictures taken before. The gallery is opened. Ayn Rand saw a lot of photos on the phone. In the photos, they were all photos of her hugging Jiang Chen when she slept and photos of her relatives. Especially when she saw Qin Ziyun pressing her head with one hand and Jiang Chen's head with the other, asking her to kiss Jiang Chen. Qin Ziyun. Ayn Rand had a black thread. She was strange at the time, even if she was sleeping, she would not kiss her. It turned out to be the ghost of the two daughters. But. I don't know what's going on, she can't get angry at all. There is even a bit. Realizing this, Qin Rand couldn't help stroking his forehead and muttering to himself with his eyes closed, what's wrong with me? Is it possible that her current liking for Jiang Chen has reached the point where she will not dislike her relatives and she is even a little bit happy? In addition. What does Jiang Chen think? During this period of time, she has been thinking about her feelings, but now think about Jiang Chen's feelings. She didn't believe that Jiang Chen had no feeling for her. In any case, her appearance is still very high. She recalled Jiang Chen's expression and reaction recently. Jiang Chen looked calmer on the surface, but she didn't know what she thought in her heart. Maybe it's the same as her. Living room. Jiang Chen made breakfast at this time, and the food, rice porridge and other things were already on the table, but he was a little entangled now. The breakfast is ready, I must call Qin Rand to eat. But how did he shout? After all those things happened, it always feels a bit embarrassing. He looked at the two children, go and call mother to have breakfast. After listening to Qin Ziyun and Qin Ziyun, they couldn't help but look at each other. They didn't want to shout, but were afraid that their mother would be angry when they saw the photo on the phone. Go and shout. Jiang Chen looked at the two babies, wondering a little. Qin Ziyun is weak, don't dare. Don't dare. Jiang Chen was puzzled, looking at her, why don't you dare? Dad, look at the photos in your phone. Qin Ziyun. Jiang Chen glanced at the two babies and opened the phone gallery with confusion. FK. He saw him sleeping with Qin Rand and pictures of his relatives. It turns out that he and Qin Rand will kiss because of the two children. How do you know Dad's phone password? Jiang Chen glanced at them. Unlocked with your finger. Qin Ziyun. Jiang Chen looked at Qin Ziyun, you also took pictures with your mother's phone. The two babies nodded weakly. Jiang Chen. No wonder the two children dare not go over and shout. But I can't help but call Qin Rand for breakfast. After tangling for a while, Jiang Chen calmed down and made himself look more natural. He got up, walked to Qin Rand's door and then knocked on the door. It's breakfast. Jiang Chen. In the room, Qin Rand heard the sound, his heart beat faster, Jiang Chen called her to eat breakfast. Qin Rand thought quickly and finally, she calmed down and made herself look calmer and more natural, as if nothing had happened before. Otherwise, it will only be embarrassing. Qin Rand looked calm at this time, got up, opened the door, glanced at Jiang Chen calmly and said nothing. Jiang Chen didn't say anything, so he returned to the position with Qin Rand. Qin Rand glanced at the two daughters who were sitting across from him and saw that the two daughters didn't even look at her, with a very guilty conscience. Qin Rand didn't say anything. When she wanted to come, the two daughters used their mobile phones to take pictures. Jiang Chen couldn't know about this unless the two daughters took the initiative to tell Jiang Chen. Dust's phone taking pictures. Unless the two daughters remembered to unlock with fingerprints. But this possibility is relatively small. After eating breakfast peacefully, Qin Rand said to Jiang Chen, I'm going to the company first. Good. Jiang Chen. Qin Rand didn't say anything, picked up the bag and walked out. After the door was closed, the two children let out a long sigh of relief. When Jiang Chen saw this, he didn't get angry, don't do this kind of thing in the future. Maybe someday, your mother will really beat you up. The two babies nodded. Jiang Chen shook his head lightly, a little speechless. After he cleaned up the dishes and chopsticks, he sent the two children to kindergarten. After that, he returned to the villa. Sitting on the sofa, flipping through the photos taken by the two babies. On the other side, in the chairman's office, Qin Rand saw a scene in the living room at home through the mobile phone software. She installed a hidden camera at home, which is super clear and multifunctional, and can zoom in on the camera for surveillance. She zoomed in and found that Jiang Chen's phone also contained those photos. Qin Rand.